You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1533, where Ann Hawkins from Live EQ offers up some suggestions on effectively capturing new customers from outside the equestrian community. And I'm so happy to welcome back to the show Ann Hawkins, the really big brain behind Live EQ or Live EQ, the app that was fully designed from beginning to end, top to bottom, to help horse people be better horse people. Welcome back to the show, Ann.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always great to be here.
What is our exciting, interesting, and mind-blowing topic for today? Because every time you come on, I have a mind-blowing moment.
Well, I appreciate that so much. And I don't know if today will be necessarily mind-blowing, but I think that it's a topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts in some way. And that is how we as a horse community, as horse people, can better allow access to riding and how we can just help newcomers come into this sport and widen its reach a little bit. You know, there are a lot of people who would love to be involved, who would, are horse enthusiasts in one way or another, but riding just seems very daunting, and crossing that bridge and getting into actually, becoming part of this community. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about how we can make that better for people.
And that's an important topic because industry-wide, one of our big struggles is always bringing new enthusiasts into the fold. And the easier we can make that, and the better. And I think this is a good conversation to have because what 20 years ago, an easy way to get new customers to come in, and today, a way to get new customers to come in, is going to be two different conversations. The things have changed a bit in the past 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly have. I mean, I can talk about, my story of starting Liveac, and I mean, that's really a good example of it. I was a horse girl growing up. I rode horses. My mom put me in horse camp when I was 4. So,
Yay,
always
Mom!
A horse girl. Yay! I know. We love those moms or dads that, help take that first step or facilitate the horse love, And yeah, I was very passionate about it. I just was the girl who truly latched on horses. I would ride any horse in any class. It didn't matter. I was just down to do it all and absolutely loved it. And then, of course, I became an adult and I entered the workforce as adults do. And, I was supporting myself financially in my young marketing career and moving around to all different cities. Back then, remote work wasn't really an option. So you had to move around a lot to where the corporation wanted you. And when I would get to a new place, the first thing I would do is try and look for a place to ride. And at that time, financially, that meant like something where a free lease was an option on maybe the, not so ideal horse, or I could exercise for people or, things like that. And it was just really hard. Google was around then, thankfully, but I would Google places to ride and things like that, and nothing would really come up. And if something did, that trainer was the busiest trainer on the planet because they were the ones who could afford to have a website and maintain that, right? So it was really difficult. And, I also remember coming into a barn as a newcomer and in a lot of places just feeling really lost and confused and on the outside. And that doesn't necessarily mean the people at the barn weren't welcoming. That's just how you feel, like you don't know where the tack room is when you first get to a place. You don't know, what horses are what and, what feed everybody like, and just the culture of a barn. It is daunting. It is, you're kind of walking into someone else's house almost and saying like, hey, I belong here now. It's scary. So I did start Liveac because of all of those barriers, and others barriers to finding careers in the equine industry, to starting a barn, and having to market it. But just that feeling, I remember so vividly of being this young person in her early 20s and just so badly wanting to keep this passion with me and having to really, really fight every day to have that in my life.
So what can forward-thinking equestrian business people do to help reach out to that person who is on the outer rims of equestrianism? They're going, oh, it might be fun, or, oh, I love to watch horse movies. What can we do to get that person to notice us and then take the next step?
As a company, LiveEq is pulling those people into the fold. That is our job financially, right? That's our job as a business, is to find those people, reach them with the right message, and pull them into the app to make sure that they're exposed to the horse industry. So that initial bridge is something that we're solving. I will say though, once they're on the app, or exposed to your riding facility or job or whatever it is, there are some things that you can do to help that person extend their hand and say, okay, I'm ready, and take that initial step. In describing your stable, of course, not all barns are beginner friendly. Like I'm going to preface this. If you are not a beginner friendly barn, this is not for you. Or trainer or whatever. If, there are certain barns that focus on that elitist level riding. This is, the ones who do want generally newcomers to come in. Describe yourself as such, maybe it's through a video of you going through the barn, just of you welcoming newcomers and saying, hey, I know what it's like to be new to this. I know what it's like to really want to be around horses, but not know in what capacity that is. And I want to extend this invitation to invite you in to come to my barn, to take a lesson, to let me guide you. And maybe I find what discipline you're good at. Maybe I find what capacity you're going to do really well in this world, but send us a message, take the step, really have that message of encouragement saying like, it's okay, we'll welcome you in. And just knowing, we're in this world every day. We're in the barn every day. It's hard to put ourselves in the shoes of someone who's not in this world every day, but just keep that in the back of your head. There are people who want to be in here, and for them, getting in feels so scary. So approach them from that perspective.
Yeah. Well, and I think we always assume we're being judged. Right. We always assume the person that is behind us is judging us in some way. So helping people feel that it's okay to not know. You will not be ridiculed for not knowing and asking. We would love you to ask, and we appreciate you asking, and we think that's great. I think is going to go a long way.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a good point. And that is human nature, right? We're also, I think, just enough rejection, right? And then we become adults and we're just so scared of that judgment or of that rejection happening in every aspect of our life, but definitely in something as big as riding horses. And yeah, coming at it with that perspective, is definitely big. Another great area to bring people into your barn or your business is those entry-level jobs. And again, this is for companies, barns, trainers, events that are in the position to have beginners working there. But internships are fantastic. They don't necessarily have to be paid either. If you're on a budget, you can offer credit. There's a lot of schools that'll work with you in this way, where you're offering class credit for the internship that you're providing. But this is a great way to get young people in who don't have access to this world, into your door, trained the way that you want them trained. And if it's a good fit, maybe that person stays with you for 15 or 20 years. It's certainly possible, but that is definitely a really good way to help broaden the community and also simultaneously grow your business with really good, hardworking people that will stay with you for the long haul.
There you go. Now, let's talk a little bit about credentials. So as someone who is reaching out a little bit past the established equestrian community to try to get customers in, what is a good way to take your credentials? Say you got a degree from a college in horse management, or you have accomplished certain awards in your discipline at a high level. How do we present those things, and are they important?
I think they are very important. Absolutely. one way to do this, again, I always circle this back to the app because we just kind of solve a lot of problems in this way. But if you do have a profile on LiveVac and you want to use that as your go-to place for people to watch videos of you and all that kind of stuff, you can list those credentials on your profile. You can talk about them. You can talk about the people that you've studied under. I think that's very, very huge. This is definitely a world where hands-on experience is valued a lot, which is something that I love about it. It's one of the only career fields where you can say, hey, I've got all this hands-on experience, and someone goes, okie dokie, Uh-huh. But it is also a world where academia plays a huge part. So I think that it's a great thing to emphasize about yourself and talk about and point people to.
There we go. So where can people find the Live EQ app, and how much is it going to cost?
You can find the LiveVac app or the Live EQ app on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. It is completely free to download. If you, for some reason, can't find it there, you can go to liveec.com, and that has everything about the app, everything about our company on it. And you can also find me on LinkedIn under Ann Hawkins, or you can look for our company LiveVac if you want to reach out from the business perspective. But our goal is really just to open up the horse world to everyone who wants in. We want to widen this sport and allow all horse enthusiasts to play a part in it. So if that's something that you're passionate about, get in touch with us. I'm sure there's a capacity for you to be involved somehow, but we're rolling and we're not stopping. So
there we go. Thanks a lot, Ann Hawkins from Live EQ, the free app that helps horse people be better horse people. Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.